this.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Gabby with Binge now. Today, we've decided to pump up the hotness quota on our channel. From making out in the kitchen blindfolded to rain sequences that can ignite a fire, these are the top 10 hottest scenes in Hallmark movies. So sit tight, we're starting off with Autumn Dreams. Starring Jill Wagner as Annie Hancock and Colin Egglesfield as Ben Langdon, the movie is about Annie and Ben, who fall in love as teenagers, planning to elope to New York City. Things fall flat when Annie's parents have their marriage annulled. 15 years later, both have a life of their own. Annie is engaged in Iowa, and Ben is engaged in New York. However, they find out that their annulment was never finalized. Annie and Ben then reunite once again to make their divorce legal. In that process, they find themselves reminiscing about what they could have had. As romantic feelings spark up again, both must decide if their past love could be their destined future. As they start spending time together, their old love sparks up. At Ben's house for dinner, a tune on the piano led to a sweet and bitter reveal. While talking about the old days and Annie's future endeavors, Ben pours his feelings out about what his life has turned out to be.
Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I stayed in Iowa.
And when the divorce talks come up again, Ben has a slip of emotions.
This can't happen. Ben, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you.
While the scene in itself doesn't have anything raunchy, it's the looks that kill. Sometimes that's all that matters to set the mood. We're just getting started, everyone, and things will only get hotter as we carry on. With that, let's talk about Love on the Sidelines. Starring Emily Kinney as Laurel Welk and John Reardon as Danny Holland, the movie is about Laurel, who is a struggling fashion designer. She lands herself a job as a personal assistant to superstar quarterback Danny. Due to his injuries, Danny is unable to work, and having a female assistant who is unfamiliar with football is the last thing he needs. But the two decide to cooperate on a trial basis. While Danny fights to retain his star image despite being worried about how his injuries might affect his career, Laurel struggles to learn her job. Things get complicated when Laurel and Danny begin to realize there's more between them, and it might just be love on the sidelines. With love growing, one call from Danny sends Laurel rushing to him.
Then you should go.
But I can't run out during your wedding.
I'm the bride, and I say that you can.
Okay, I'll be back as soon as I can.
Perfect. Okay.
After knowing the reason for Danny's emergency, Laurel loses it.
I thought something happened to you.
Well, I needed to tell someone you're the person that I thought of.
In the middle of my best friend's wedding?
With the bickering and questions, Danny does this.
Is there anything that you can do for yourself?
Yes.
Sometimes that's the best way to answer someone you love. Moving on to Very, Very Valentine. Starring Danica McKellar as Helen Russell, the movie is about Helen, who is a florist. Owning her shop, Helen loves her work, and she especially loves it when Valentine's is around the corner. Hoping to fall in love one day, Helen thinks that she found love at her best friend's masquerade's ball. Helen meets a masked man with whom she connects emotionally and senses romance.
What's wrong? Is it the dress? It's too much, isn't it?
No, actually, I was gonna say it's perfect.
After parting abruptly, neither knows anything about the other, not even their names. The only clue Helen has is the boutonniere that the man dropped when he rushed off. In a quest to find her Cinderella, Helen teams up with her best friend and her aunt to match the mystery rose. And that's when feelings grow within Helen.
One boutonniere featuring Mystery Rose, purchased on February 6th.
The day of the gala.
By one Charles Bradfield.
As she spends more time with him, love at first sight dwindles in her. There was something about him that made her feel that she could let her heart out.
And now I'm spilling out my heart to a stranger.
Well, I don't have to be.
We've seen different takes on the Cinderella story, but this one by far might be the best. What do you think? With that, let's move on to A Dash of Love. Starring Jen Lilly as Nikki Turner and Brendan Penny as Paul DeLucci, the movie is about Nikki, an aspiring chef landing the job of her dreams when her idol, Holly Hansen, asks her to work at her restaurant. Finally, thinking that her career is taking off, she has a rocky start with Paul, the handsome executive chef of the restaurant with whom she becomes close friends.
I'm sorry, did I say something to upset you? Or...
No.
Her happiness is short-lived when she finds out that Holly is stealing her recipes and fires both Nikki and Paul to protect herself. In order to prove that their food is better, Nikki and Paul decide to team up and open their own restaurant. And as they begin a battle with the scheming celebrity chef, they use their talents to whip up some of the most delicious delights alongside with a dash of love. With food bringing Nikki and Paul closer and a growing bond that works its way to success, this soulful movie proves that things can get hot and steamy in the kitchen.
Cold, I will feel a glow just...
Moving on, All of My Heart. Starring Lacey Chabert as Jenny Finley and Brennan Elliott as Brian Howell, this movie is about two people from very different backgrounds inheriting the same house. Jenny, an aspiring chef, gets news of inheriting the house from her relative Emily. She gets inspired to turn the house into a bed and breakfast, but Brian, who also inherits the house, is a Wall Street broker who wants to sell the property. Because of unexpected circumstances, Brian loses his job and has nowhere else to go. In order to prepare the bed and breakfast for inspection, Jenny and Brian decide to divide and share the house. However, they are unaware that doing so will strengthen their relationship. As Jenny and Brian talk about Jenny's bed and breakfast idea over dinner, a feeling of warmth ignites between them. With bidding each other good night, they part ways and go to their respective rooms to get some sleep, but soon water dripping down the roof wakes them. While meeting in the hallway, a romantic rainy sequence follows, leading us to one of Hallmark's hottest moments.
Hold me close, I'll be there soon.
If you thought these scenes were hot, wait till you see what happens in Harvest Moon. Starring Jessie Schramm as Jenny and Jesse Hutch as Brett, this movie is about Jenny, a spoiled city brat returning to her hometown after her family pumpkin farm goes bankrupt. Her father bought the farm as an investment, and to get the money back, she plans to sell the farm. The farm is run by Brett and his teen brother Harry, and their aunt Rosie, the housekeeper. The idea of Jenny selling the farm doesn't sit well with them. To save their livelihoods, both Brett and his brother plan to sabotage her sale. After discovering the magic of pumpkin skincare, she utilizes her knowledge and fashion sense to turn the struggling farm around, and while doing so, she starts to fall in love. Working her way out of her spoiled brat nature and getting closer with everyone leads to Brett growing feelings for Jenny. As Brett apologizes to Jenny for his jerk behavior, both go for a horse ride.
Whoa.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm on it.
Oh, nice and easy.
Okay. Here we go.
Well, this was just the beginning, as later back in the bar, a true passion sparks between them. And now it's time for Campfire Kiss. Starring Danica McKellar as Dana Henderson and Paul Green as Steve Reynolds. The movie is about Dana, a divorced mother to a 13-year-old. Dana is overprotective towards her son, and that nature is straining their relationship. On the other hand, Steve, who is also a divorcee, feels the same way about his daughter. Both want to build a good relationship with their kids, so they organize a 4-day camp trip in the mountains. Upon arriving at the camp, as they spend time together, Dana and Steve discover that they have night and day differences. However, it doesn't stop them from falling for each other. While trying to fix their relationship with their respective kids, a new bonding ensues. There's a moment when Dana watches the sky alone, and Steve joins her. Steve's confession leads to a beautiful moment, and there could have not been a better background for this setting. Up next, Wedding Bells. Starring Danica McKellar as Molly Quinn and Cavan Smith as Nick Turner, this movie is about fashion designer Molly and executive chef Nick, who were once set up by their respective best friend couple Amy and James. Molly, the maid of honor, and Nick, the best man, have to band together to make their best friend's wedding happen. In the process of having to handle the wedding plans, Molly and Nick try to find a common ground to agree upon. While putting their differences aside, soon they have a change of heart. While Molly works on her design for the next season, Nick joins her.
It's just not happening.
Sounds like we're in a similar place work-wise. Nothing happening.
Come sit with me. Listen to the rain for a minute.
We're just going to leave you to enjoy the rest of this scene.
What?
And with that, we're moving on to something all of us need, a recipe for love. Starring Danielle Panabaker as Lauren and Sean Roberts as Dexter Durant, this movie is about celebrity chef Dexter and would-be Cordon Bleu chef Lauren. Since Chef Dexter's TV show serves as the core of a large franchise, his editor insists Dexter finish a cookbook. Given his concerns about the whole thing and the fact that the cookbook doesn't progress much, the editor sends Lauren, a non-fan, to help Dexter and ghostwrite the cookbook. Their incompatible cooking techniques and misunderstood past threaten to blow the cookbook up as they attempt to complete each recipe together. But as they both go further into the core of their common desire, the possibility of romance rises. By keeping Lauren blindfolded and letting the ingredient mixing work its magic, the closeness between them grows.
It feels incredible.
Right after the blindfold goes off, the scene that follows is sure to make your heart skip a beat.
Dexter, we shouldn't.
I should.
And now it's time for A Country Wedding. Starring Autumn Reeser as Sarah Sandor and Jesse Metcalfe as Bradley Suttons, the movie is about Bradley, a Grammy-winning country star who returns to the small town of Texas after a very long time before his glamorous wedding to a famous actress. Bradley lost his parents in a car accident at a young age, and since then, he had never returned until now. When he's back in town to sell his family's old house, Bradley bumps into his childhood friend, Sarah, a cowgirl who owns a small ranch. Bradley then extends his stay, and as they spend more time together, the chemistry between them grows. Bradley soon begins to rediscover himself. Sarah and Bradley head out to a country club where some dancing and blushing lead them to a whole new level. Love is blooming, but still, there is doubt in their hearts.
He's marrying somebody else. He's leaving this town.
I know.
I care about you, Sarah. Just don't want to see you get hurt.
So will Sarah and Bradley get together? That's what A Country Wedding is all about. With that, we've come to the end of today's video. Which of these scenes were your favorite? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you like our video, please make sure to give us a big like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Until next time.